All right, some breaking news here on Monday. Glenn Schumann sticking with the Georgia Bulldogs for the 2023 season. Make sure you're picking up Double Dogs today if you've not gotten it yet. So far, we've got some confetti for you. If you order now, it's a big, thing for Georgia to have Glenn Schumann back. He'll work with Will Muschamp to be the co-defensive coordinators coming back into the 2023 season. The loss of Todd Monken earlier this month. Um, I don't know that it was something I saw coming for certain. But Glenn Schumann coming back to Georgia, I mean, I think everything from the NFL is going to get settled down. Everything from college already has. And, it lets Georgia go into the 23 season knowing everything they need to know from this point forward. It's late February, um, and the season will get here quicker than you think. It will get here quicker than you think. I think, one thing that Matt DeBerry would tell you, our recruiting analyst, recruiting expert, so to speak, at Dog Post, is that, the biggest thing with Glenn Schumann coming back are the recruiting ramifications. I mean, when you think about some of the guys that Schumann has had at Georgia in his time, Roquan Smith, uh, I loved Monty Rice. I thought he was an exceptional player. Hurt in that 2020 season, but I loved Monty Rice. I thought that was a really good pickup and get for Georgia. And then now these two linebackers right now, with Jamon Dumas Johnson as well as it's not just Pop, it's Smile Munden, Xavier Sort. I mean, they've got some guys at middle linebacker, and that's or inside linebacker. That's because that Glenn has done a really good job of recruiting. And I think, well, I don't. Will Muschamp's tenure as a uh, as a defensive coordinator in this league and elsewhere speaks for itself. I don't think you need to worry about, if Muschamp can get it done as a coordinator. So these are all uh, parts of the puzzle that you're getting, ready to build in as the dogs get closer and closer to the fall. I mean, we've still got all of the spring to deal with, G Day as well as the summer. But by the time, so Georgia will probably, I don't know why they wait so long to tell everybody that are, they don't know why they wait so long to tell reporters, but whatever. So we know Pro Day is on the 15th of March. Georgia traditionally starts their spring football practices on the 14th. So you've got about 2 full weeks of, Glenn, knowing Glenn's going to be back. I don't think, nothing's changed. Um, that's the part that I think. Uh, that's the part I think that is so critical because you've lost Todd Monken, who does matter. You've replaced him with somebody who is in the program a season ago. So Georgia is returning coordinators that were either the coordinators last year or who were, in the program a season ago, and Mike Bobo, and worked with the offense. So I think Georgia, that if Glenn left, it'd be one thing. If Glenn didn't leave, it's another. I don't think either of them make or break Georgia's entire season. I think that he has done a hell of a job, though, recruiting and certainly developing too. I mean, Sorey, Dumas Johnson, Munden, these were all guys that um, it was going to take a little bit of time. I mean, obviously they're young. They're young. They're coming into what could be their final season, but they didn't play as freshmen in the big moments. That was what N'Kobe Dean was for. Okay, and all of those slew of really good linebackers that Georgia's had over time. Those are because of Glenn Schumann, not exclusively Glenn, but a lot of it was because of him. So that's the part when you talk to recruiting guys, we talk to people like Matt DeBerry, who you see on the channel all the time. That's the part that they would kind of stress is that the players that Georgia has gotten, um, that he's the reason why, or he's a big reason why. This image right here of Smile and Pop. Actually, all everybody from the Kent State page are some of his linebackers. So I think Glenn, is a rising star. He's 32 years old. Um, not That's not very old in the coaching world. But if you're going to be working with this guy, better pack a lunch because there's a lot going on. Coaching underneath Kirby Smart, there's a lot of work involved, a lot of work, and I don't think this is going to be the last person who successfully goes on to take other position. I mean, in this case, that didn't happen, but I think if the Eagles had offered, I think that Glenn would have said, "Yeah." I mean, that's the reporting that I was able to scrape together, but that's not something that's got to be overly concerned about right now, as the Dogs head into this season with a defense returning. That's pretty good. I mean, you're going to have to deal with the loss of Keeley, Christopher Smith. That's not going to be ideal. Nolan Smith was gone already. You're losing Robert Beal as well. I mean, the biggest one is certainly the loss of Jalen Carter, but you're going into a situation now where this team, this program knows what they have to do. I remember quite clearly, Keely, when we were doing the event at Red Zone in Athens. Um, we were talking to Keely. It was the day after the Kentucky game in 2022, and we were just shooting the shit for lack of a better term. And he said, "Oh no, we know what we have to do. We know what we have to do." And he was talking about to win the national championship. And there's no confusion there. And Glenn is one of the major reasons why. But it starts with Kirby, and it goes from there. And you know, Georgia, the institution, has really backed up. Um, and invested into the board over here to my left. They have chosen to win, you know, and that's not always been the case at Georgia. Um, and I don't know what Glenn's contract situation is off the top of my head, but I mean, he certainly will get paid significantly more than he did a year ago, if for no other reason than the results speak for themselves. But I think this is a really good moment for the Dogs in the program. I think the biggest thing is the recruiting. I think that's what's going to help the most with Glenn Schumann sticking around is that the guys they already have along the way. I mean, I think that the linebackers that they've added in the 23 class that was just signed at the end of 22. Those guys are really good players, and that will continue as long as Glenn is there. I don't know what they would do if they were replacing Glenn Schumann at linebackers. It could be that they would elevate somebody inside the program. I don't know immediately. I'm sorry, I don't know immediately who that person would be. And if you went outside the program, I'm not sure immediately who that would be. So they've avoided sort of some situations by getting Glenn to stick around. But I don't think it's going to be the last time that a Georgia coach um, gets an interview with the NFL, and I don't think it's going to be the last time that a coordinator leaves because we saw that this past year with Todd Monken. Thanks for watching. Make sure you're signing up for the newsletter down below.